Welcome back, everyone. We're diving back into the fascinating world of lucid dreaming today, continuing our exploration from last time.
Glad to be back. Looking forward to going deeper.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Last time, if you remember, we were really focused on dream recall, like how to even remember your dreams in the first place. And I don't know about you, but after that, I was left with even more questions.
Absolutely. Makes sense. It's like opening a door to a whole new world. Suddenly you want to know everything about it.
Totally. So that's what we're doing today. Sort of our mission for this deep dive, if you will, is to really figure out why dream journaling is considered so important. Not just a nice thing to do, but kind of vital for lucid dreaming.
Right.
We also want to wrap our heads around, like, the weird, illogical nature of dreams. You know what I mean? Why things happen the way they do in our dreams.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And then the big question, of course, is how to actually use all this knowledge to become lucid, even in those dreams that feel totally ordinary or those crazy stressful ones.
Definitely. We'll cover all that today.
Okay, so dream journaling. We talked about it a bit last time, but like, why is it so important? I've heard from people who religiously write down their dreams, but they still don't have lucid dreams.
Right, and it's a great question because just writing down your dreams isn't some magic spell. It's not like saying abracadabra and suddenly you're lucid, but it really does lay a very important foundation for everything else.
Okay, so in what way? What does it actually do for you?
Well, it starts with a very simple fact.
Mm.
You can't be aware in a dream you don't remember having.
Right.
We all dream every single night, but most of those dreams, they just poof, disappear from our memory.
Right.
But when you journal, when you actually try to remember those images and feelings and write them down, you're sending your brain a message. You're basically saying, hey, this dream stuff matters. Hold on to it.
Interesting. So that's like a way of telling your brain to prioritize those memories.
Exactly. And over time, this drastically improves your dream recall, kind of like exercising a muscle. The more dreams you remember, the more opportunities you have to become lucid.
So you're saying the more you remember, the bigger the playground for lucidity, so to speak.
Exactly. And it's not just about quantity. Journaling also helps you get to know your own personal dream world. Because everyone's is different. We all have our own recurring themes, characters, emotions, even a certain kind of dream logic.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like getting to know your neighborhood. You learn which streets to take, what to expect around the corner.
Exactly. And this familiarity is crucial because it helps you notice when something is out of place, when something is different from your usual dream norms. For example, let's say you often dream that you're walking through mud, very slowly. But then one night you're suddenly flying.
Ah, okay.
That contrast, that feeling of, wait, this isn't right, can trigger lucidity. But you wouldn't notice that shift if you didn't know what your normal dream walking felt like.
Right. The weird stands out more when you know what the not weird is like.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So what else does journaling help with?
This is where it gets really interesting. Journaling helps you uncover your personal dream signs. These are the recurring patterns that show up in your dreams again and again. Specific people, places, objects, strange events, intense emotions, things that just wouldn't happen in real life.
Right. Like I've mentioned before that my cousins often pop up in my dreams,
Yeah.
even though I haven't seen them in years.
Exactly. That's a perfect example of a potential dream sign. And these signs often point to things that are important to you, even if you don't consciously realize it, like a secret language your subconscious is using.
So it's kind of like a personalized something's off alarm.
Precisely. And by journaling, you start to notice these patterns. So next time you see your cousins in a dream, or you find yourself back in your childhood home, or whatever your recurring signs are, a little bell might go off your head saying, hold on, this is familiar, I might be dreaming.
Okay, so it's about recognizing the patterns to spark awareness. That's cool.
Yeah.
Are there other benefits to journaling?
Yeah, there are a few more. Journaling also helps you become more aware of your inner world in general. Because the act of remembering and writing down your dreams, it shifts your focus inward, away from the external world and more towards your thoughts and feelings.
Huh. It's like mindfulness, but for your sleeping mind.
Exactly. And this increased awareness of your inner world can help you distinguish between dreams and reality, even when the dream feels really real.
So it's not just about the dreams themselves. It's about training your attention. I like that.
Yes. And then there's one more benefit, which might be the most interesting of all. Journaling can help you build a better connection with your unconscious mind.
Oh, okay. How so?
Well, by showing your unconscious mind that you care about its dreams, that you're taking the time to remember and record them, you're essentially inviting it to cooperate with you.
So it's like saying, hey, I'm listening. I'm interested in what you have to say.
Exactly. And this can make it more likely that your unconscious mind will help you achieve lucidity.
Wow, that's pretty powerful stuff. But then, as I asked earlier, why is it that some people who journal regularly still struggle to have lucid dreams? What's missing?
Right. And that's the key question. Because as important as journaling is, it's really just the first step, the foundation.
Okay.
Think of it like learning the alphabet. It's absolutely necessary for reading, but you also need to learn how to put those letters together into words and sentences. Same with lucid dreaming. Journaling lays the groundwork, but you also need other techniques.
Gotcha. So what are some of those other techniques?
Well, for one thing, a lot of people who journal don't do regular reality checks. Those are the moments when you consciously question whether you're dreaming or not. And then there are techniques like mild, where you set the intention to become lucid before you fall asleep. And then there are even more advanced techniques like wild, which stands for wake-initiated lucid dreaming. Journaling is great, but you need these other tools to actually induce lucidity.
Right. It's like journaling provides the raw data, but you need the right tools to process that data and make use of it.
Exactly. And another thing is, some people might be great at journaling and they might even start to recognize their dream signs. But if they don't have the habit of questioning reality in their waking life, they're less likely to do it in their dreams.
Right, because it's got to be a reflex. Is this real?
Exactly. And then there are things like unrealistic expectations. People expect to have a lucid dream immediately after they start journaling.
Ah, yeah.
And when it doesn't happen right away, they get discouraged. But like with anything else, consistency is key. And the quality of your journaling matters too. Just jotting down a few random notes isn't as effective as writing detailed descriptions, including your emotions, anything strange you noticed, and really trying to find those recurring patterns.
So to sum it up, journaling is essential for recall, familiarity, and finding dream signs. But to actually become lucid, you need active techniques, a questioning mind, realistic expectations, consistency, and detailed journal.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, on to something else I think we've all experienced. The sheer weirdness of dreams. Like, how do we make sense of all the illogical stuff? Is there even any logic to dreams at all? And why do we just accept it all as normal while we're dreaming?
That's a fascinating question. And the answer is, dreams aren't entirely random. They do operate on a certain kind of logic. It's just a different kind of logic than what we're used to in waking life.
Okay, what do you mean? What kind of logic are we talking
Oh,
about?
for example, think about how things connect in real life.
Yeah.
If you drop something, it falls because of gravity, right?
Yeah.
Cause and effect.
Yeah.
But in dreams, things connect more through associations, through memories and feelings. You might be in your house one minute and then suddenly you're in your childhood school, not because you physically traveled there, but because something in your house triggered a memory of school.
Right. So it's like a free association exercise in your mind.
Exactly. And then there's emotional logic. Your feelings can directly influence the dream. If you feel scared, the dream might suddenly become dark and threatening.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that. It's like your emotions shape the world around you.
Right. And then there's symbolic logic, where the things in your dream represent something else entirely. We talked about your cousins, right?
Wait.
Well, maybe they symbolize family or the past, not literally your cousins themselves.
Interesting. So, like, the zombie in my dream might not actually be a zombie, but a symbol for something else.
Exactly. And then there's something called condensation, where different ideas, memories, people, places, they can all get mashed together into one strange image.
Okay.
Like, you might find yourself in a building that's both your office and your childhood home at the same time.
Wow, that's trippy.
Yeah. And then there's displacement, where the emotional significance of one thing gets transferred onto something else. So you might be angry at your boss in real life, but in your dream, you're yelling at, like, a random cashier.
Ah,
And finally, dreams don't always follow a linear timeline. Past, present, and future can all get mixed up. You might jump from being a kid to an adult and back again in the blink of an eye.
okay, so there's a lot going on there. But you mentioned that we usually just accept all this weirdness as normal in our dreams. Why is that?
Right, and this is really fascinating because it has to do with how our brain functions during REM sleep. That's the stage of sleep when we have most of our vivid dreams.
Okay.
So during REM sleep, the prefrontal cortex, or PFC, becomes less active. This is the part of your brain that's responsible for critical thinking, logic, and self-awareness.
So the part of our brain that would normally say, wait, this is crazy, is basically taking a nap.
Precisely. And at the same time, the limbic system, which is involved in emotions and memories, is highly active. So you're experiencing all these intense feelings, but the logical part of your brain isn't there to question them.
I see. It's like a party in the emotion center, but the security guard is off duty.
Exactly. And then when you're dreaming, you're also cut off from external sensory input. There's no real world to compare the dream to. So the dream world becomes your only reality. And since our brains generally tend to believe what they're told, especially when the doubt mechanism is off, we just accept the dream as real, no matter how bizarre it is.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh.
So how can we use this understanding of dream logic, or lack thereof, to our advantage when it comes to becoming lucid?
Well, knowing why dreams are so weird actually gives us a powerful tool for recognizing when we're dreaming. The weirdness itself becomes a clue.
Okay.
So all those illogical things that happen in dreams, flying, talking animals, impossible locations, unexpected people like your cousins showing up, those are actually opportunities to realize, hey, this isn't normal. I must be dreaming.
So the weirder the dream, the better the chance of realizing it's a dream.
Exactly. And that's why reality checks are so important. When you do a reality check, you're basically training that critical reality testing part of your brain to stay at least a little bit active even during sleep.
So even if it can't completely stop the dream, maybe it can at least whisper, hey, something's not right here.
Exactly. And then when you're reviewing your dream journal, don't just focus on the story. Actively look for the illogical moments, the things that would never happen in waking life.
Okay.
Because the more you do this, the more attuned you'll become to noticing these inconsistencies while you're dreaming.
So it's all about training yourself to spot the glitches in the matrix, so to speak.
Yes, exactly. And let's take your zombie hospital dream as an example. You said it felt totally normal while you were dreaming, but looking back on it, it's completely nonsensical.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So how can we break that down and use it to help you become lucid in the future? First, let's just list all the things that are illogical from a waking perspective. Ready?
Yep, fire away.
Okay, so first of all, zombies exist. That's a big one. Zombies aren't real in our waking world, so just seeing them at all is a major red flag. Second, the setting. Zombies in a hospital. That's a weird combo. Why a hospital? Were they patients? Had there been an outbreak?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that in the dream. Just accepted it.
Right, that's the dream logic at work. Third, and this is especially weird, they were all asleep. Sleeping zombies. That's not how zombies usually work. Why were they asleep?
Again, didn't even question it.
Exactly. And then there was the little girl. Where did she come from? Why was she there? Why were you with her? The appearance of unexplained companions, especially kids, is a really common dream element.
Yeah, true. And I just went along with it.
Of course. And finally, your reaction. You were sneaking past them. Now, in a dream, that might seem reasonable. But in real life, if you came across a hospital full of zombies, you'd probably be freaking out, running for your life, something.
Yeah, I definitely should have been more freaked out.
Right. So the fact that you were so calm, that's another sign that your critical thinking was off.
Okay, so that's step one. Identify all the weird stuff. What's next?
Step 2 is to ask the questions that you didn't ask in the dream. The questions your waking mind would be screaming.
Okay, like what?
Like, wait, zombies? Are zombies even real? Why are they in a hospital? Why are they all asleep? That doesn't make sense. Who is this little girl and where'd she come from? And maybe most importantly, why am I so calm? Shouldn't I be terrified? And then the ultimate question. Is this even possible? Could I be dreaming right now?
Man, those are all the things I should have been thinking.
Exactly. And that's the whole point of this exercise, to train your mind to start asking those questions automatically, even when you're dreaming.
Got it. So, step 3.
Step 3 is to turn those illogical elements into potential dream signs for the future. So seeing impossible creatures like zombies, dragons, whatever, that's a huge red flag. Definitely a dream. Do a reality check. Seeing familiar things in weird places, like zombies in a hospital, an elephant in your living room, that's suspicious. Do a reality check. Unusual behavior from things that are usually predictable, like sleeping zombies, your dog suddenly talking, that's also very suspicious.
Got it. Reality check.
Right. Unexplained companions, always ask yourself, where did they come from? And any mismatch between your emotions and the situation, like feeling calm when you should be scared, that's also a potential sign.
Okay, I'm getting the hang of this. Impossible creatures, strange settings, odd behavior, unexplained people, mismatched emotions, all red flags.
You got it. And then there's an optional step 4, which is to think about the potential symbolism. Now, our main goal here is lucidity, not dream interpretation. But sometimes thinking about the symbolism can be helpful.
Okay, sure.
Like maybe the hospital symbolizes healing or vulnerability. Maybe the sleeping zombies represent your fears. Maybe the little girl represents innocence or a part of yourself. And the sneaking past, maybe that represents avoiding something. But again, the main point is to train yourself to see the weirdness and question reality.
Got it. So basically, by analyzing the dream after I wake up, I'm training my brain to be more aware of these things while I'm dreaming.
Exactly. You're sharpening your observation skills and building that connection between weirdness and the possibility of dreaming.
Awesome. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, last thing I wanted to ask about is, what about those dreams where nothing weird happens? Like they're so normal that when I wake up, I'm surprised it was a dream. And on the flip side, what about those super intense, stressful dreams where it feels like there's no time to even think?
Those are great questions because they represent two common challenges. So let's start with the super stressful dreams, like the plane crash you mentioned. The key thing to realize here is that the feeling of no time, that sense of urgency and panic, that's actually part of the dream itself. It's your brain's emotion centers going into overdrive.
So the panic itself is preventing me from thinking clearly and realizing it's a dream.
Exactly. But here's the thing. That intense emotion can sometimes be a dream sign in itself.
Really?
How? Well, real life emergencies are scary, of course, but in a dream, that fear or panic might feel even more intense, more exaggerated, more hyperreal.
Oh, okay.
So one strategy here is to focus on conditioning yourself in waking life. Every time you feel a surge of stress, fear, excitement, even if it's over something small, do a reality check.
So I'm basically training myself to associate strong emotions with reality checks.
Exactly. And then when you have a stressful dream, make a note of how intense your emotions were. Ask yourself, was that level of panic really justified? Was my reaction logical? And sometimes the sheer over-the-top nature of the scenario, even if it seems plausible, can be enough to trigger a moment of awareness. Like something in the back of your mind goes, wait a minute, this is too much, this can't be real.
Okay, so I'm basically trying to turn the intensity into a trigger. Gotcha.
Mm.
Now, what about those super normal dreams, the ones that feel so real that I don't even realize I'm dreaming until I wake up?
Those are tricky, for sure, because they often don't have any obvious dream signs. But here's the thing. Even the most normal-seeming dreams usually have subtle inconsistencies. We just tend to overlook them.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, it could be something about the place, like the room looks almost exactly like your real bedroom, but there's an extra door, or the furniture is arranged differently. Or it could be the way time feels, like you feel like hours have passed, but it's still the middle of the night.
Okay, yeah, I've had that happen.
Or maybe someone in your dream says something that's a little bit out of character, or their appearance is slightly off. Or maybe there's a weird jump in the storyline, like you suddenly go from one place to another with no explanation.
Yeah, those scene changes can be pretty jarring.
Right. And sometimes there's just this faint sense of unreality that permeates the whole dream. Like something feels a little bit off, but you can't quite put your finger on it.
Okay, so these are all like little hints that something's not right.
Hmm.
But how do you become aware of them when they're so subtle?
This is where the habit of reality checking comes in again. But with these normal dreams, you have to rely more on random, unprompted reality checks throughout the day. Because you can't wait for a big, obvious dream sign to trigger it.
Right, got to make it a habit.
Exactly. And when you journal these normal dreams, try to remember the details as clearly as possible. Was everything exactly the same as in real life? Was there anything, even a tiny detail, that was different? Because sometimes just focusing on those details can make you more aware of them in future dreams.
Okay, so extra attention to detail. Got it.
And then there's a technique called Manaldi, which is specifically designed for these kinds of dreams. It's all about setting the intention to become lucid, not based on any particular dream sign, but simply by recognizing that you're dreaming.
Huh, interesting. So it's like instead of looking for clues, I'm just telling myself, when I'm dreaming, I will know I'm dreaming.
Exactly. And then, after you wake up from a normal dream, ask yourself what in that dream, however normal it seemed, could have been a clue. Even if you can't think of anything specific, just asking that question can help you become more sensitive to those subtle hints in the future.
So for these normal dreams, it's all about reality check habits, detailed journaling, and intention setting.
Yes. And of course, the most important thing is to keep practicing. The more you pay attention to your dreams, the better you'll get at recognizing the dream state, no matter what kind of dream you're having.
This has been so helpful, honestly. Like, I feel like I have a much better understanding now of how to approach lucid dreaming.
Great. That's what I like to hear.
So to wrap things up, can you give us a quick recap of the key takeaways, just to
Yeah.
make sure I've got it all straight?
Sure. So first, we talked about dream journaling. It's not a magic bullet, but it's super important for improving dream recall, getting familiar with your dream world, and identifying your personal dream signs.
Right.
Second, we explored dream logic. Dreams have their own kind of logic based on associations, emotions, and symbols, and we accept this weirdness because our critical thinking is turned down during REM sleep.
Got it.
Third, we talked about analyzing your dreams after you wake up, like we did with your zombie hospital dream. By looking for the weirdness and asking yourself those critical questions, you can train your mind to spot the dream signs.
Right.
And finally, we discussed those two challenging dream scenarios, the super intense ones and the super normal ones. For the intense dreams, the strong emotions can actually be a clue, and it's important to connect strong emotions with reality checks in your waking life. For the normal dreams, it's all about reality check habits, detailed journaling, and intention setting.
Awesome. That's a perfect summary. Thanks again for all this amazing information. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And for everyone listening, I encourage you to take a moment and think about what your own dream signs might be. We've talked about a lot of possibilities today, so see if any of them resonate with you.
That's a great idea.
And be sure to join us next time as we continue our exploration of lucid dreaming. We'll be diving even deeper into some specific techniques and strategies.
Looking forward to it.
Until then, keep dreaming, keep exploring, and keep questioning reality.
Happy dreaming.